let's talk about the importance of being your true, authentic self. So for me, this is something that I struggled with a lot when I was younger, and it's something that I still struggle with now, to be honest. It's something that I will probably be working on for the rest of my life, and I'm honestly okay with that. But at the same time, I still want to try and be the best I can and do the best I can, of course, relating to as many topics and different things as possible, but especially on this. For those of you who know me, you will know that I have a tendency of uh, being a massive people pleaser, and albeit not so much now as I did in the past, but it was really bad, really, really bad. And this is something that really caused me to be stuck in my life and to not be who I really want to be and, follow my dreams, follow my passions, be my true self, because that's what this video is about. And the reason I really wanted to share my thoughts and experiences here is I know there are loads of people out there just like me who have things that they might be embarrassed about but they really enjoy, or that they have had people tell them that they can't do it, or it might be your ego, your voice in your head that has been basically on at you saying that, well, in my instance, you're 20 years old, why are you playing Sonic? And I'll tell you why, because that is part of my true authentic self. That is who I am, and that's what makes me happy, and I'm not going to apologise for that. And you shouldn't either. It's. I'm here to tell you that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to, allow yourself to be happy and to do what makes you happy, both career-wise and, just have fun in your life and, follow the excitement, follow the passion. It's really, really important that you do that. When I was around, I think, 13 or 14 years old, I had kind of got it in my head that, oh, that's it now. You're too old to do this, you're too old to do that, you can't do that anymore, you got to grow up, you're like going into, that's around the age I think where you're going into like secondary school, and this is around the time that this kind of stuff started happening for me. I remember being super happy in year 6 and, playing with my friends all the time and like playing Legos or Sonic or whatever I was doing as a kid, right? Just having fun, doing kid stuff. But I remember I reached year 7, I reached secondary school, and things changed a lot. Things were really tricky, and I have to say, secondary school, for all its ups and downs, was probably the hardest parts of my life so far. Don't get me wrong, I learnt a lot from the experience, I really, really did. But, I'm also kind of glad that I'm not there anymore, being honest. And, I'm not going to go into it, but I had a lot of personal things happen around that time and a lot of things that I struggled with on top of just being like a growing teenager into, like kid into teenager, or however you want to put it. But I basically gave up on a lot of things that I still really, really enjoyed. Like I say, I stopped playing Sonic. I remember I bought Sonic Generations, which was like, I don't know, 20... When was Generations? I don't actually remember. But anyway, I remember buying Generations. I remember really loving the game as a kid. But I remember I got to this stage of my life and I was like, oh, well, I just got to give it up. So I sold Generations. What else did I do? I kind of, if you guys remember Skylanders, I know that was big for my generation. Sold all of those because I was embarrassed by it, because I had to quote unquote grow up now. I had to let go of all of these things. And like I say, I sold Sonic games, I sold my Skylander stuff. I can't remember what else, but a lot of my kind of childhood things like that I kind of moved on from. And yes, it's okay to grow up. Of course it's okay to grow up. If people move on, times move on, and, your life changes. You're never going to always stay in the same spot, Things change, and yeah, that's tricky, but it's also a good thing for things to change, because you always evolve as a person, and you're going to move forward in different ways. But for me it didn't happen really as a natural progression. It more happened because I had kind of, I'd had people telling me to not do certain things anymore because of the age that I was. And, that aside, I had that massive ego in my head that I didn't obviously know at the time, telling me that you're too old for this and you can't do this. And I'm here to tell you that that is, that's stupid. It really is. It's so silly. And, well, of course something changed because I am now 21 this year, and I'm playing Sonic, and I'm honestly so happy about it. Couldn't be happier. Because at one point in my life, I think I was maybe 16 or 17 at this point, and I'd been playing guitar for a little bit, and just life went on and experiences happened, and I realised that I let go of my childhood way too early. I let go of all of these things that I love when I didn't really have to. And although there were people telling me, that it was embarrassing, and you guys know what school's like, especially if you're of like a similar generation to mine and you've recently been through it, and you get people that are always judging you and telling you not to do these certain things. But like I say, I equally, if not more, would always judge myself. And I honestly, sometimes I can't help it. I'm so hard on myself. I really, really am. It's funny. Me saying it, I'm like, I'm kind of just thinking like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing with certain things when I could just cut myself some more slack? And I learned a lot from the video I made before about perfectionism. And it's funny because, I still do it. I still do it even now. I'm definitely a lot better than I was. But, what can I say? And it's interesting because it obviously comes from the fact that I care. Honestly, you could say I care too much, really, quote unquote, because I am really bothered about things being as good as I can get them. And I kind of wanted to continue on from my last video in saying that, obviously, kind of almost in contrast to not being a perfectionist, I kind of didn't mention that I'm now at the stage where I think it's okay to try your best, and like all of the kind of cliche, like, oh, never give up and do your best no matter what, like all of that kind of stuff. I still think that's super important now, and I kind of always did. But the reason I mention that is because I almost feel like you have to find a balance. Don't be a perfectionist like I was, and don't you end up not making progress in your life. But also at the same time, don't kind of half-ass stuff, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But that's what I've kind of learned as of recent, and especially in the past like year or so, really been something that's important to me. Definitely one of my biggest lessons that I've learned, shall we say. So let's bring this back to the main focus of the video now, and that being on, of course, being your true authentic self, and why that is super important. Not only is it important because obviously nobody will ever be you. You'll find people that might be similar to you, but we're all unique, we're all special, we've all got our little things about us, and it's okay to really like run with it, take that and be proud of who you are, and don't let anybody kind of tell you otherwise. It's it's funny, it took me so long to realise that it's just so important to be who you are and be happy with who you are, and don't let others kind of take that away from you. What I'm not saying is to, of course, then take that completely too far and, become like a complete egomaniac, okay? Because basically, what I'm trying to stress here is it's important to be your true authentic self, but don't take it too far. And then, for example, someone be like, oh, can you turn your music down, please? Or can you please not speak that way to me because I don't like it? Or, you know, whatever the case might be. And then you turn around and say to them, well, this is just who I am. Because then that's in the realms of narcissism instead of, you know, then you're not really being your true, authentic self, and you're not, you know, adding value in that way. And, you know, you'll find that you're not happy. So, to kind of sum up, I'm basically, I'm just not saying to be ridiculous with it, right? And almost becoming quote unquote entitled, okay? Because that's not what it's about. It's more about being the true you and being happy and content with yourself and your life and your choices, you know, whatever they might be. Because we're here for like a temporary experience on this earth. We don't know when it could end, and it's never the same for each person. You know, your last day on earth could be tomorrow, or you might not even wake up for tomorrow, or you know. And I know it's like not to like go super dark and like you know get really depressing about it, but I think it's super important to kind of bear in mind, and it's something that I've really found important to me moving forward. I kind of want to live each day as if it could be my last now, and I know it can be hard to kind of like, it's funny, it's very easy to say these kind of things, you know, it's super easy to kind of go, oh yeah, well, you know, all of this kind of stuff. But I do generally think it's super important, because I don't want to have any regrets in life. I want to live the best I can and do the best I can and have the best experiences, and I won't get it right all of the time, and neither will you. And to reference back to my previous video again about perfectionism, this is how I kind of got stuck as well a little bit, because I didn't really understand, and I kind of thought that, well, everything has to be perfect because I want to be my best. And yeah and no. Of course, like I said previously, it's super important to do your best. Of course it is, and I'm not saying don't do that. But at the same time, you haven't got like unlimited time. Do your best, but make sure you're always moving forward. Make sure you're always trying something. Make sure you're always just being your best and doing your best in everything you can. And like I say, you're going to have off days. You're going to have days where you wake up in the morning and you're like, honestly, like, I'm not about this today. Like, I just want to curl up in a ball and just let life pass me by. And that is absolutely fine, okay? Don't be too hard on yourself. And as much as this is obviously a message to all of you guys, and I hope it helps, this is a massive message to me as well, because it's important to kind of not call yourself out, but like, you know, let yourself know these kind of things. I have always been so bad, always been so bad at it, just not cutting myself slack. At the same time, don't cut yourself too much slack, but I was not letting myself able to do anything in life, and like I said in my previous video, I was stuck for a super long time. Okay, so I want to briefly touch on why I chose to play Sonic Unleashed for this video. Now there's a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is because this game is amazing, and I love this game so much. I've loved this game since I was a kid, and I had the Wii version, and later on, like, I don't even know, like 7 years ago now when I got the HD version, and this game's incredible. And slight like kind of detour, but I wanted to make a kind of appreciation video for this game when it turned 15 years old, which was last year, 2023. And I didn't get around to it because I was super busy with my guitar stuff and uni stuff and just life in general. So just, you know, if you guys would want to see that, then let me know, and I'll still kind of get it out regardless anyway, and maybe adjust some of the points that I was talking about, because obviously it's a tad late now, seeing as we're like, what, 6 or 7 months later? But anyway, that's besides the point. So I chose Sonic Unleashed because I love it, because it means something to me, because this game has taught me a lot and been super important to my personal development. And a lot of that is obviously in the gameplay itself, and I grew up watching it and all of that, so it meant a lot to me as a kid, it means a lot to me now. But the story of this game, and there's a couple of points in particular that just really, really resonate with me. And the one I wanted to talk about was the cutscene near the end of the game with Chip and Sonic. And basically, Chip explains to him that he was never doing anything special. This is like when he gets his memories back, right? So yeah, slight spoiler, but basically he gets his memories back, and he figures that he's like Gaia, and he just explains to Sonic that he never did anything. He never protected him. He never ensured that he didn't lose himself. That was all Sonic's doing. So even though he transformed into the werehog at night, and everyone else kind of lost themselves, and you know, all of the things that you see throughout the game, but it never happened to Sonic, because as Chip said, you're just too strong to lose yourself. And that really, really stuck with me. And it just perfectly links into what I wanted to talk about today. Be too strong to lose yourself, no matter what. Let's all try our best to take that leaf out of Sonic's book. Do your best no matter what, in every scenario, in everything you encounter in life. Not only the things that are easy, but especially the things that are difficult. Because if you can remain your true self, even in those difficult moments, you'll find that you're okay, and you'll find that it's easier to make it through life. And listen, I know these things are way easier said than done, okay? And like I said before, I'm of course still working on all these kind of things myself, and I always will be, because, well, no matter which way you choose to see it, that is one of the beauties of life. There's always something to work towards. Like I said, you know, in my last video, there's always something to work towards, something to better yourself with. It's a constant journey, and for a while I was upset with that. I kind of just wanted everything to be perfect now and to already be there so I could then start life, but that's not how it works, and I know that now. It's important to not let the darkness win. Don't give in to the dark inside of your heart that we all have. And also, you know, equally, don't be upset with yourself when you do make mistakes, when you don't get everything right, when you might give in, because we aren't perfect, you know, and we never will be. But as long as you try your best, that's all we can ever ask for. So with all of that said, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it resonated with you. And same as last time, I'd really love to hear what you all have to say down in the comments. I really enjoyed talking to all of you and hearing your experiences and what you all had to say. So yeah, definitely let me know, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.